Goodies positioning in the center, everybody. The name's Wu Fang, and welcome back to Hunger Games Simulator. Last time we did the girls of season 6, and this time, yet another callback episode. This time, robbed characters. In short, Draco, the person who suggested this episode, decided to go through the entire series up until I think season 6 or 7. I don't know. Don't you dare do the meme. And went ahead and said felt all of these characters were robbed. So, yeah, this is entirely his cast, not mine. If you want to see the proof, go look up the comments in Descendants where he put this. I wonder how many of them are rooted for in the past. Not Bowser, not Meta Knight, yes Dipper, no Rapunzel, yes Jim. Maybe? I know it was Leonardo, and was it Splinter or it's not Kurenai, is it? I don't know what was Leonardo's girlfriend, the daughter of Splinter. No Lindsay, yes Jay. I think yes to Kevin McAllister, yes to Rouge. I don't know about Jesse. Probably not. Not Mantis, yes Indy, yes Sora. Maybe Lightning, I'm not sure. Yes Gumball, no, not Isley, not Mr. Wolf, not Daisy, not Cuphead. Yeah, Sonic, not Agnes. I think you, and definitely you. So, a lot of characters I was previously rooting for. And the biggest contenders here are Jim, Dipper, Rouge, Sora, and Indy. Between those five, between the five, the two that I least want is Dipper and Rouge. It's between Indy, who's my favorite movie character, Sora, who's my favorite game character, and Jim, who is probably my favorite show character. Um, huh. I think I'm gonna go with Jim because I don't like sticking to the same district, which means Indy or Sora. And if we're gonna go, I think I like Indy more as a character, so we're gonna go with Jim and Indy. But I don't mind if any of this fight wins. Anyways, the bloodbath. Poison Ivy runs away. Indiana Jones and Sora fight for a bag. Indy gives up and retreats. Smart, logical. Gumball grabs a jar of fishing bait while Jessie gets the fishing gear. I like how Jessie's just carrying this rod bigger than her. Lindsay grabs a sword. Mantis and Jim run away. Agnes grabs a shield. Dipper, Rouge, Cuphead, Daisy, Bowser, and Splinter all run away. Jay breaks Rapunzel's nose for a basket of bread. Sonic does the same thing to Kevin. Oshawott gathers as much food as he can. Mr. Wolf grabs a jar of fishing bait while Meta Knight gets the fishing gear. And Sarah and Lightning run away. No deaths during the bloodbath. Jim discovers a cave. Indy travels to higher ground. Agnes was pricked by thorns of picking berries. Sonic tends to Cuphead's wounds. Rouge scares Lindsay off. Lightning, Meta Knight, Poison Ivy, and Splinter hunt for other tributes. Dipper is pricked by thorns of picking berries. Oshawott receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Sarah searches for a water source. Sora searches for firewood. Rapunzel camouflages herself in the bushes. Bowser strangles Jay after engaging in a fistfight. Kevin travels to higher ground. Daisy receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Jessie accidentally steps in a landmine. Gumball picks flowers for Penny. Mantis practices her archery. Wolf dies of dysentery. Alright, well that's three very embarrassing deaths, being Jay from District 4, Jessie from District 6, and Mr. Wolf from District 9. So, from 24 to 21 survivors, no district is completely out. Let's move on. Cuphead, Gumball, and Sonic discuss the games what might happen in the morning. Lindsay sets up camp for the night. Rapunzel, Daisy, and Lightning sleep in shifts. Kevin receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Meta Knight is awoken by nightmares. Sora climbs a tree to rest. Indiana Jones stays awake all night. Poison Ivy, Sarah, and Oshawott cheerfully sing songs together. Agnes, Dipper, Rouge, Splinter, and Jim sleep in shifts. Bowser lets Mantis into a shelter. Lightning runs away from Rapunzel. Cuphead and Meta Knight work together for the day. Bowser steals from Oshawott while he isn't looking. Daisy makes a wooden spear. Rouge poisons Lindsay's drink but mistakes it for her own and dies. That's a mistake Lindsay would make. They swap brains for a second there. Sora accidentally detonates a landmine when trying to arm it. Huh. Good thing I went for Indy then. Dipper sees smoke rising in the distance but decides not to investigate. Splinter receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Indy explores the arena. Hey, look at that. Agnes is pricked by thorns of picking berries. Poison Ivy is unable to convince Sarah to not kill her, so Sarah got Ivy. Mantis stabs Kevin with a tree branch. Jim sees smoke rising in the distance but decides not to investigate. Gumball camouflages himself in the bushes, and Sonic tries to sleep through the entire day. 4 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Rouge from District 5, Sora from District 7, Ivy from District 9, and Kevin from District 5. With that, Districts 5 and 9 are completely out, and from 21 survivors to 17 survivors. A little over the first quarter of the cast is dead. Let's proceed. Indy, Rapunzel, and Jim discuss the games what might happen in the morning. Daisy fends Dipper, Oshawott, and Sonic away from her fire. Toon Force works. Splinter and Lightning hold hands. Bowser begs for Mantis to kill him. She reluctantly obliges, killing Bowser. Meta Knight defeats Agnes in a fight but spares a life. The little one does not have a sword. This fight is not honorable. That is actually something he does in the games. He makes you pick up the sword ability if you want to fight him. Gumball, Lindsay, and Cuphead sleep in shifts. Sarah questions her sanity. Daisy begs for Indy to kill her. He refuses, keeping Daisy alive. Oshawott decapitates Agnes with a sword. The ball with a sword refuses, but the otter is ready. Lindsay fishes. Lightning, Sarah, Rapunzel, and Dipper raid Meta Knight's camp while he's hunting. Sonic, Mantis, Jim, and Splinter raid Cuphead's camp while he's hunting. Gumball thinks about home. 2 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Bowser from District 1 and Agnes from District 11. So with that, still just 5 and 9 out, but we go from 17 survivors to 15. Getting awfully close to halfway already. Cuphead questions his sanity. Lightning, Sonic, Dipper, and Indy sleep in shifts. Jim tries to treat his infection. Rapunzel and Daisy talk about the tribute still alive. Mantis fends Meta Knight, Splinter, and Gumball away from her fire. Lindsay passes out from exhaustion. Oshawott tends to his wounds. Sarah tries to sing herself to sleep. Cuphead constructs a shack. Gumball, Lindsay, and Mantis hunt for their tributes. Sarah makes a slingshot. Daisy and Jim hunt for other tributes. Sonic overhears Rapunzel and Meta Knight talking in the distance. Dipper and Lightning work together for the day. Indy searches for firewood. Splinter bashes Oshawott's head against a rock several times. 1 cannon shot. It's Oshawott from District 12, which makes it so we go from 15 survivors to 14. 5 and 9 are still the only ones out of play. Gumball attempts to start fire but is unsuccessful. Daisy convinces Meta Knight to snuggle with her. Indy and Lindsay talk about the tribute still alive. Sonic, Sarah, Cuphead, Mantis, and Jim sleep in shifts. Lightning strangles Rapunzel with a rope. I'm curious to see how the car man did it. The Dipper is unable to start fire and sleeps without warmth. Sonic convinces Splinter to snuggle with him. Gumball receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Sarah receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Splinter tends to Indy's wounds. Cuphead severely injures Daisy but puts her out of her misery. Halfway there. Lindsay searches for a water source. Sonic defeats Meta Knight in a fight but spares his life. Jim thinks about home. Lightning falls into a frozen lake and drowns. Mantis chases Dipper. Let's see. 3 cannon shots. Rapunzel from District 2, Daisy from District 10, Lightning from District 8. With that, we go from... what was it? 14 survivors to 11, with Districts 5 and 9 still being the only ones out. Actually, let's see. So I would have said it was Dipper, Jim, Rouge, Indy, and Sora I was interested in. Huh. Only 2 of the 5 I could have won would have been happy with. Huh. Only 2 of the 5 potential Root Fours are dead. And we're over halfway through. Not bad, all things considered. Indy thinks about home. Sarah sees an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Mantis thinks about winning. Splinter tries to treat his infection. Lindsay tries to sing herself to sleep. Dipper, Gumball, and Jim cheerfully sing songs together. Mennonite is Anna start fire and sleeps without warmth. Sonic catches Cuphead off guard and kills him. Top 10. Gumball receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Lindsay injures herself. Jim discovers a river. Dipper, Splinter, and Sarah get into a fight. Dipper triumphantly kills them both. Damn, Dipper. You had that dog in you this entire time. Sonic practices his archery. Indy overhears Mantis and Mennonite talking in the distance. 3 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Cuphead from District 10, Splinter from District 3, and Sarah from District 12. With that, Districts 5, 9, and 12 are completely out, and we go from 11 survivors to 8. Here we go. Mennonite and Dipper hold hands. Mantis tends to her wounds. Jim kills Gumball as he tries to run. Sonic and Indy tell stories about themselves to each other. Lindsay starts a fire. The cornucopia is replenished with food supplies, limits, and memoirs from previous families. Mantis, Lindsay, and Mennonite all decide not to go to the feast. Dipper strangles Sonic after engaging in a fistfight. Jim decides not to go to the feast, and Indy dies from an infection. Ah! Okay. Oh, he was top 5. That's cool. Lindsay discovers the river. Mantis sees smoke rising in the distance but decides not to investigate. Jim kills Dipper for his supplies. Holy crap. Wolf Mutts are let loose in the arena. Lindsay survives. Jim is eaten by the Wolf Mutts, and Mantis is crushed. Hold on. You mean to tell me... You do. For those of you who don't know Total Drama, it's a parody of Survivor, in which they made characters off of teenage stereotypes. Lindsay is the stereotype of the blonde bimbo. Let me just write this down here so I don't forget. You mean to tell me that the stereotype for a blonde bimbo beat someone who hunts trolls for a living, a kid who figured out how to beat a god of weird, world-renowned archaeologist who has survived Nazi attacks, a psychic mantis, fastest animal alive, a swordsman ball, Toon Force the cat, a witch, the ultimate ninja trainer, a cup who has canonically beaten the devil, a race car, Toon Force girl, hair whip, can run at you at Mach speeds with water, child of a supervillain, king of the Koopas, the Christmas trapster, controller of plants, the savior of all worlds, not once but twice, all by himself, a busty bat thief, a handsome wolf thief, a literal toy, and a lightning ninja. I could believe the literal toy and Agnes, but like the rest of these guys have such significant feats over you. Anyway, recap. Jay Walker's in 24th, Jesse's in 23rd, in 22nd, Mr. Wolf, in 21st, Rouge the Bat, in 20th, Sora, second worst of who I was rooting for, in 19th, Pamela Isley, in 18th, Kevin McAllister, in 17th with 1 kill, Bowser, in 16th, Agnes Felonius, in 15th with 1 kill, Oshawott, in 14th, Rapunzel, in 13th, Daisy Duck, in 12th with 1 kill, Montgomery McQueen, aka Lightning, in 11th with 1 kill, Cuphead, in 10th with 1 kill, Hamato Yoshi, aka Splinter, in 9th with 1 kill, the best of the Sanderson sisters, Sarah Sanderson, in 8th, Gumball Watterson, in 7th, Meta Knight, in 6th with 1 kill, Sonic the Hedgehog, in 5th, Henry Jones Jr., in 4th, with 3 kills to his name, holding the kill record for this, well, not the kill record, but the most kills this game, Mason Pines, also known as Dipper, In third, with 2 kills to his name, it's James Lake Jr. In second, with 2 kills to her name, it's Mantis. And the winner, our farthest going pacifist too, is Lindsay. When was the last time we had a pacifist winner? I don't know. But, actually, never mind. This kind of makes sense. I guess Total Drama factoid for you here. The second season, Total Drama Accent, she was intended to be the winner, but her voice actress had familial issues, so she could not make it to that recording. So they had to quickly rewrite the finale to not have her in it. She was intended to win, and since the main villain was such a perfectionist, it was supposed to piss off the main villain so much that, in her words, a dumb bitch beat her. Anyway, summary, around the same, around a week average, and now we have the placements. In 12th, 9, in 11th, 5, in 10th, 10, in 9th, 12, in 8th, 8, in 7th, 1, in 6th, 11, in 5th, 7, in 4th, 2, in 3rd, 3, in 2nd, 6, and in 1st, 4. There you have it for this episode of the Hunger Games Simulator. Thank you, Draco, for the suggestion, and if you'll excuse me, the next episode is going to be Disney Junior characters, so stay tuned for that. But until that time happens, the name is Blue Fang, and I bid you all a good West positioning in the sun, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.